What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the horsemen, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on? Back at it on a Friday evening, Premium Takes Podcast in your life. And boy, do we got a handful episode for you guys. Should get out of here by 10 o'clock Eastern. That being said, let's get into it. Big game against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. We are going to preview that after we go over our week 2 results. And we are going to probably preview 3 more games later on in the slate to see to give our previews. Not going to go over the whole slate. We're just going to pick 3 games, one from the 10 o'clock window, one from the 1 o'clock window, and then, of course, our winner from Sunday night, whether it be the Chiefs or whether it be the Giants. That being said, guys, I want to thank you guys all for showing up today, and let's get it going. Week 2 results, guys. We have Adam. He picked Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Minnesota. He ended up 2-1 with Philadelphia and Cincinnati winning, and then Minnesota falling short on Sunday night against the Falcons. I had it a little bit different. I picked Jacksonville to win against Cincinnati. Cincinnati came through in the clutch with their backup quarterback and beat Jacksonville, but then I did get Atlanta right on Sunday Night Football. And then there's Mac, last place, but doesn't mean he can't turn it around. It's a long season. He did pick KC, Cincinnati, and Minnesota. Cincinnati did get the win, but unfortunately, KC and Minnesota did fall short. So as we go out to the weeks, guys, we're gonna add to this total. Anybody's thoughts about the week? Any game we want to talk about before we move on to predicting this week's games?
Well, Cincinnati losing Joe Burrow. We'll see how they react going forward. I'm like, my team can't catch a break. So whether the Giants go 0-2 on a 64-yard field goal or the Bengals lose Joe Burrow, it just never works out for me. I need to stop watching football. I just bad news from all around. Just let me give it up. Let me give it a rest.
I love it.
I'm going to college football, guys.
I love it. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we usually talk about the Giants towards the end of the show. But what we're going to do is we're probably going to preview Sunday night's football and we'll work backwards. So we'll split it up. So we're going to preview a game and then we'll have a different topic. And then we'll preview a 4 o'clock window slate. We'll have a different topic. And then we'll end it with our last preview of a game around that 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock slate. That being said, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going to a New York Giants, home opener for New York. They're going to be at MetLife, kicking off their home opener for the season. Obviously, you guys covered this on the NFC East Roundup, but let's get a deep dive into it right now. And this is going to count on our record, so make sure you guys pick wisely. I'm going to let Mac begin. The Chiefs versus New York Giants. Who do you got here?
Unfortunately, I got to go with the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football, Giants don't perform well in prime time. Chiefs 0-2. Giants are 0-2 as well. But I just feel like the Chiefs may come in a little more hungrier, just feeling a little more desperate, and you might be looking to have that little get right for the season and try to get their season going in a more positive direction. I think the Giants, what they showed last week, that they can go out there and maybe compete and play with just about anybody, but at the end of the day, they find ways to giant it up, so to speak. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be some similar scenario on Sunday night. Maybe a pretty decent game, may get a solid game, better than what people might have thought, prior. But I still think Chiefs end up finding a way to win the game.
Well said. Do you have any kind of game flow or any kind of final score? You just want to leave it empty, kind of see how it goes?
Final score. Why not? I'll go 27-24.
27-24. All right, 27-24. Alrighty. Adam, who you got in this game?
Well, I would love to say I believe in these New York Giants, but I have little faith. And the reasons are like this. One, you had an enormous amount of penalties that didn't go away from the preseason. and you had penalties in the Commander game. Okay, let's say they had about 20 penalties, almost, right? There were 4 or 5 that were declined or offsetting or whatever. You had a boatload of penalties. Let's say you cut that in half. That's still 10 penalties. That's still too many. Okay. This team, I think, lacks discipline from the coach. And so they just scare me. They just scare me. I want to believe them, but then how can I believe you when you couldn't beat the Commanders who couldn't even do anything against Green Bay? Now, do I think what they did against Dallas was good? Obviously. But let's be real. Dallas, they made stops when they needed to. They had some busted coverages. That's not going to happen with Kansas City. This is arguably the best defense we've seen so far. When I was predicting the Giants to win, I thought they would at least beat the Cowboys and be 1-3 after 4. I still think they have a chance to do that. If anything, this is the game to do it in with the struggling Chiefs. But like Max said, the Chiefs are hearing it right now. And when you tell a team they can't do it, or they're bad, or the dynasty's over, or they can't beat this team, they can't get out of their own way, you start to feel that. And they know that they need to get in this game and win this game. If this team was a 2-0 team, I'd say they'd be right for the picket. They struggled against this team, but the Giants could beat them, right? They played 2 good teams. The Chargers, who we believe are playoff bound at 2-0, and the Eagles. So while I want to believe that they're stumbling, let's look at the opponents they've played and not just poo-poo them and say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, well, they weren't playing any of the elite of the elite. It's not like they were getting clobbered by the Saints. They got clobbered by the Super Bowl champions and a team that's in their division that was gunning for them. So the other thing that I want to say about the Giants, the rumors are swirling that Jackson Dart could start next week, that Shane and Dable, Bowen and Brian Dable's jobs could possibly be on the line. These are not things I want to hear 48 hours out from a game. I don't want to hear that your plans are already to start Dart possibly next week. That already tells me if you're going to think about starting him pending the result this week, then you're going to want to start him anyways. That's not confidence boosting in my thing. The other thing is there's a lack of accountability across the board in terms of leadership. Ryan Dable's letting his defensive coordinator hang out to dry, and telling him that was his call. No, bro, you're the head coach. Ultimately, it was your call as well. So with all these rumors and things happening and asking if they're going to live up to this and that, I just think the Giants have too much drama going on. There's apparently, and again, rumors, but rumors happen because people are leaking stuff for a reason, that there's a little bit of a morale change, right? Apparently now they're locking into winning the game. Well, what it tells me is they think that something bad is going to happen on Sunday. If they're already planning for a game against the Chargers, and who's going to start in that game, with the rumor saying that Dart could be inserted in Game 4. So all I'm saying in a nutshell, I know I was long-winded, is that while I want to believe as a New York Giant fan, and as many of you fans go out there and you believe, and that's fine, you can believe, I'm not going to go on that island. I'm here to support my team. But realistically, this team, the Chiefs, while they're going to lose, they're not going to make the Super Bowl this year. I probably can put my stamp on it. They're still going to be competitive. They're still the Kansas City Chiefs, and overall, they're still better than the Giants. And I think with Mahomes and a lot of things that the Giants have done defensively, I think it's just a little too much for the Giants to handle. I can easily see them losing 24-27 on either a last-second field goal or just Mahomes magic. Maybe the game's 24-24. Mahomes does the Giants play off again, or they blitz, and then there's a big home run play. Like, something is bound to happen because there's just too much drama on this team. And I just think it's you're going to see it rear its ugly head on Sunday.
Well said. All right, so both of you guys picked the Chiefs in a close scoring game, but the Chiefs pulling out the edge in the victory due to just the coaching. Giants coaching is absolutely trash, just based off the Giants penalties, just the undisciplined, unfocused team, and just based off overall projection. The Chiefs do look like a stronger team. Andy Reid is the more elite play caller, and yes, they are 0-2. But you guys will see later on in the show that I still have them above teams that's 2-0, just based off of the strength of schedule, who they played. They played 2 Super Bowl contenders. We all seen that comment in the first 2 games with the Chargers and the reigning defending champion. Yet to lose a game in Philadelphia. That being said, though, I am going to go on a limb. I'm going to be on an island by myself here, and I'm going to pick the Giants. Reasons being is because the world is picking the Chiefs to get right, and I think the Giants is going to go in there and not shut them down. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think we're going to edge the victory. And I think the next week's dialogue is going to be what's going on with the Chiefs more than as if it's the Giants get it right. The Giants are still going to be a bad team after this game, but I do believe that we are going to get it right against the Chiefs, I would say. Now, I wouldn't pick that pick with the gun to my head. I'm just trying to be different and try to take an edge on the competition, and hopefully if the Giants win, I can be up on you guys, but if not, I'll be one lower than you guys because the Chiefs should win this game any day of the week. But I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Giants get the victory done 20-23, a walk-off, field goal. I'm gonna say Dexter Lawrence and both Abdul Carter both gets their first sacks of the season in this game. I say we blitz Patrick Mahomes heavy, and as much as I have respect to Steve Spagnuolo, and Steve Spagnuolo should get it done against this offense, I'm just gonna have to go be a homer and choose the Giants. So that's the picks for the Giants versus Chiefs. Alrighty, guys. You guys want to move on to the next topic or anything else for that game?
I mean, I don't know what really to say. Just it's one of those games where I'm not underestimating a team that went 15-1 last year.
Absolutely.
Just they come out the gate slowly, and they improved. They really did improve from week 1 to week 2. Well, the Giants did as well. I think the one thing that will be a factor for the Giants is this defense. This defense is better than they've seen, and Steve Spagnuolo, don't underestimate him. Don't underestimate that man. Because if you believe me, I believe he's smarter than Mike Kafka. I believe he's smarter than Brian Daboll, and I think he's going to out-scheme the offense that is going to try to probably air it out. On defense, I know that people are talking about the defense blitzing. I don't know if Jane Bowen is going to go out of pocket and be out of character, because if he does and they lose the game, people aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, at least we went down swinging. They're like, you lost the game, you idiot. Why'd you blitz on this play? You got to know who Mahomes is, blah, blah, blah. So for me, I'm not trying to say I don't have faith in the Giants. There's a lot more underlying pressure with the Giants, because if they lose, shit's going to get crazy and changes are going to happen. And, the whole, I feel like if they win, go ahead. Anyway, I'm done.
No, you're good, Adam. Actually, it's a good segue. Let's play a hypothetical, right? We can all agree that the Giants are most likely gonna win less than 6 games this year, rather than make the playoffs and make something of the season, right? So let's just play a hypothetical, right? A lot of the times, us as Giants fans, we hate it because we're always talking about next year's draft in September. It's the second week of the season, and I'm about to bring up a game that Giants fans may not like. I'm about to bring up a coaching change game, and I get it. They're like, dude, Zion, why are you talking about coaches in week 3? You know why? Because our team hasn't showed, and the coaches hasn't showed over the past 4 years that they're capable of running an organization. So I made 2 different graphics, and I'm going to put it up on screen. I'm going to explain the coaches. A lot of the times we like to, I like to say as Giants fans, we like to, I wouldn't say complain. We like to voice our opinions, and we like to just shout things out, right? Not saying intelligent Giants fans. I'm just saying people on Twitter sometimes be like, fire everybody. And then you come to them and they're like, well, who are you going to replace them with? And they can't give you an answer. So what I did was I made 2 different charts, and I'm going to run it by both of you guys. Now, this is week 3. A lot could change over the course of the season. And this is almost just me going out on a nail. I did a little bit of research, but I can't say I stayed up all night doing research on these guys. I just want to bring up graphics and get your guys' opinions on it, okay? Are you guys ready for graphic number 1 or graphic number 2? I'm going to let you guys choose. I'm going to bring up graphic number 1 because it's a good segue. All right. So graphic number 1, we got next year's Giants. I have Steve Spagnuolo coming in as head coach. Reason being is Steve Spagnuolo is a respected defensive coordinator around the league, one of the best defense coordinators around the league. Also had a shot to head coach with the Rams, didn't go so well, but was also an interim head coach here at the Giants after he won a Super Bowl with us. Now he's over, obviously, in Kansas City Chiefs doing big things, and I do believe that Steve Spagnuolo's name will be in the mix in the next circuit for head coaching. Alrighty, what does he bring over with him? He brings Brandon Daly over from the Chiefs. Now, Brandon Daly, if you guys don't know about him, he's a longtime head coach in the league. Not head coach. He's a longtime coach in the league. Now he started back in college over at Oklahoma State, moving over to coach the tight ends at Illinois State, and then moving over to the defensive line at Villanova. And then he got his first NFL opportunity of becoming the assistant defensive line coach in the Minnesota Vikings from 2006 to 2008. Coached at the Rams, followed to the Vikings again with another stint. Over to the Patriots, and then he's been with Kansas City since 2019. 2019, 2021, he was the one-game coordinator, something we really do need to fix, and then also the defensive line coach. And then since 2022, he's been the present linebacker coach. He has won 6 Super Bowl championships with the Chiefs and the Patriots. This is someone that's going to come in. Obviously, Steve Spagnuolo is going to be calling the plays on defense. He's just going to be a familiar face that can come in and get the unit right. And being that our strength on this defense has always been New York Giants front seven, New York Giants front four. You bring in someone like Brandon Daly, that's going to be an absolutely stud position. Obviously, Steve's going to call the plays, and Brandon's going to be there as a DC. Now, if Steve's calling plays, he needs someone that could actually control the offense where he doesn't need to even think about any concerns about the offense. Let's bring in Lincoln Riley from SC. This is not a biased pick. I think Lincoln Riley is, and this, I thought this when he was over at Oklahoma. I think Lincoln Riley is one of the best offensive minds in all of football, college and pro. I think his air raid system is one of the most utilized systems when it comes to big plays. You see Andy Reid run it with his mesh concept. You see Cliff Kingsbury run it a lot. Cliff Kingsbury runs the air raid system just as good, but I honestly think Lincoln Riley, if you want a true air raid system, a guy that is just a mastermind, a genius. Everybody wants to call Brian Daboll a genius. This guy is a genius at play calling. Plus, if you look at his quarterbacks he had in his career, this guy is a quarterback guru. He has 4 Heisman finalists with 3 Heisman winners. And he also has 28 draft picks in his collegiate career of coaching football. This is a guy that Steve can come in, and obviously this is a long shot that Lincoln Riley is ever going to come to the NFL. But if he did, his name will automatically be number 1 on the list of top offensive coordinators. This guy coached the likes of Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, and now Jordan Mailata. If I can just go down that list, we have 3 Heisman trophies. That is going to be scenario number 1. I'm going to show you guys scenario number 2, and then we can talk about it. What's up, Mick? Thank you so much. All right, this is going to be scenario number 2. Scenario number 2. We bring in Cliff Kingsbury as head coach. Obviously, his stint with the Cardinals wasn't too good, but that was his first time with the Cardinals. He came back to SC as an offensive assistant, and then he signed back over with Washington as the offensive coordinator. I think if he gets hired, I just thought, you know what? Why don't he bring in Ken Norton Jr., a guy that's coaching with him at Washington, another linebackers coach that has a long history of good coaching in the NFL. He also brings that aggressive style like a McMortindale that's going to go out there and that's going to run aggressive blitz, but also puts his players in the best position to win. I think if Cliff gets hired, obviously he's a mastermind, an offensive guru. I think Kafka is up for becoming a head coach if this offense can move the ball this year. So I think Kafka goes elsewhere, and I think you promote someone like Shea just because of comfortability with Jackson Dort. Obviously, Turney doesn't have a resume as likely to become an offensive coordinator yet, but with Cliff Kingsbury, calling the plays and Ken Norton handling the defense, we just need someone like Shea Turner, just comfortability with Jackson Dort. So that's going to be scenario number 2. So obviously, this is early on in the season, a lot could change, but what scenario would you guys rather prefer? Go right ahead. Let's start with Adam. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm going to choose number 3, Mike McCarthy. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh,
I would
okay.
like Cliff
Mike McCarthy's
Kingsbury.
another one.
I think that's number 3, Mike McCarthy would probably be the way the Giants would choose. If you're asking me in this scenario, I don't want Shea Tierney. I get rid of him. I don't want anything to do with this offense. I mean, I like the guy, but if you're with another regime, I'm not picking your ass up. I'd probably take somebody under him at Washington. He's probably going to take someone like that. I don't know who his offensive coordinator was when he was with the Cardinals. I don't know who that was. He might tap into that resource, but I wouldn't mind Kingsbury as the head coach, because I think he would be able to understand a mobile quarterback. He's done wonders with Jaden Daniels. That's who I'd bring over, the quarterback coach, to make his OC. Obviously, where they worked with Jaden Daniels. And now we'll find out this Sunday how well Cliff Kingsbury is going to be. If he can be able to have this offense still be able to produce while Jaden Daniels out. I'm not saying Marcus Mariota is Jaden Daniels. That's not what we're saying. But you signed him to do exactly what you call a backup quarterback to do, win you a game or two. I don't know how long Jaden Daniels out. And you brought in a veteran like Mariota to keep the ship afloat. So let's see how he does with Mariota. And that'll really, if he can win some games with Mariota, and then Jaden Daniels comes back and they're still humming and they're still scoring 30 points a game, I think I would like that. So that's me. I'm choosing Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know about Ken Norton, but just for this argument, I'll take him. And Shea Tierney. I mean, the only reason I would keep Tierney is because well, I mean, logically, the only reason I keep Tierney is because he knows Dart. So
that's it. That's why I put him in that spot. Yeah, and Cliff's going to be calling the plays. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Obviously, Kingsbury is going to be the play caller, but if you're going to do, it's almost going to be like Pat Shurmur and Mike Shula, where Pat Shurmur
that's exactly what I was thinking about when I made this. Exactly.
Calling the plays, and Pat Shula was the quarterback coach, and there was a reason why Daniel Jones had his best season under Pat Shurmur. It was probably partially due to having a quarterback coach / offensive coordinator in Mike Shula, kind of navigating his play as a young player. So that's the only reason I would keep Shea Tierney, is because he's in the building right now. He has a rapport with Jackson Dart. And if they decide to go with Jackson Dart as the starting quarterback, I don't see why they wouldn't, as the quarterback class right now for the college season isn't looking spectacular. So,
and you bring, check this one, Adam, you're going to laugh. You bring Dan Orlovsky as a quarterback coach. You know, Dan Orlovsky.
If he wants to be. I mean,
they've been asking, not the Giants, but teams been asking him for years to come, and he's all like, "I'm comfortable at ESPN. I'm comfortable at ESPN." And I think next year he's finally gonna come and become something in the league.
To just before we get to Mac, like if Rex Ryan were to become a head coach, Dan Orlovsky to me would be his OC. I could see them doing it. I could see him going to Dan and be like, "Look, man, I got this gig in New York." Like, imagine if he comes to the Giants. Let's just say the Giants, option D, right? I said C was Mike McCarthy. Let's say option D is Rex Ryan. And they have a great rapport. And he's like, you know what? I want John Mara goes, you have head coaching experience. You're in the New York market. You understand my fan base. Let's say they hire him. That's a guy I could see him saying, I'm going to give Dan Orlovsky a chance to run my offense as an offensive coordinator as he puts it together, because I'm going to be controlling defense. And there's a young quarterback. I mean, to be real, if you look at it, the Giants are going to be an appealing option with the young gun that they got in, right? Possibly
another option is I totally slipped my mind even to think of even Todd Monken, because Todd Monken's name is probably going to be up for discussion as well. A little bit newer, but coming up from Georgia, now coaching with the Ravens, his name is probably going to be up for head coaching as well.
I don't think, but for the Giants, I think they're going to go with a guy who had experience.
I honestly think it's going to be Cliff. It's going to be Cliff. It's going to be Mike. But Steve is like, this is like my dream team. This right here, if Lincoln Riley can come over and coach offense, this is like the dream team. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Mac, you go. I want to hear Max.
Yeah,
maybe,
Mac, who do you got? Number 1 and number 2.
I mean, look, if I'm being honest, I mean, I don't want either one of those guys as my head coach. I'm just saying,
who would you want? But if you have to choose,
I just feel like, well, no, I want somebody that's a proven head coach, like proven. Like these
Like
guys here have had opportunities, and they have
John
failed.
Gruden?
And they have failed. And so I just and I feel like I like Spagnuolo a lot, but he's a great defensive coordinator. That's what he is. It's a great defensive coordinator. When he was a head coach with the Rams, it just wasn't good.
Fail.
It wasn't. It wasn't a good look.
Who do you have to coach? He had nobody
Cliff
on that
Kings-
team, Mac. They were playing.
Cliff Kingsbury. They had us flopping around all over the place on Monday Night Football. The one game I remember that clearly. Dropping down, flopping around, trying to get the referee to stop the fucking blow the whistle because we didn't have timeouts and whatever the hell. That shit was weird as hell. I never forget that was against the Rams. Steve Spagnuolo was the coach. I mean, he had Sam Bradford. I get it. I understand. I get that. That was like the big quarterback draft pick he got was Sam Bradford. I understand.
Did he pick that guy or he inherited that guy?
I can't remember. I can't remember if he. I can't remember.
I think he picked him. I think he picked him. I might be. I think you're right.
But at the end of the day, Cliff. I mean, look, Cliff got his way in Arizona as well. They drafted a quarterback to Josh Rosen in round 1. In the following year, they get Cliff Kingsbury in there, and they forget about first round draft pick Josh Rosen. We're gonna pick Kyler Murray number 1 overall for you, Cliff. Here you go. Here's your guy. I mean, it's just some guys are just meant to be what they are, man. Look at the Norv Turners of the world. How many head coaching opportunities did he get? He got a couple and he failed every time. But he was always a good offensive coordinator. That's just what some people are just meant to be, man. That's what some people are just dialed in to be is what they are. I just feel like I don't necessarily think I want any part of either one of those guys because I think I would love either one of them as coordinators, of course. But I don't know if I want either one of them as my head coach.
If they come to us, it's a downgrade. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know if we can look at coaches like that because not everybody goes around. Obviously, they wouldn't be on the market, if they were a head coach somewhere else, right? It's not like if Pittsburgh makes the playoffs, they're not firing Mike Tomlin. Now, if Mike Tomlin comes free and the Giants have a bad season, he should be the first one to get the call. I mean, you should pick up the phone immediately. You shouldn't even worry about interviewing anybody else. That's your guy. So, but if you're telling me Cliff Kingsbury or Steve Spagnuolo, I would say the Giants would go a Kingsbury type because they have a young quarterback here. If they had their quarterback, let's say, a Dart, right, and he's good, I think he's going to be good. But let's say it's 5 years down the road, and he's solid quarterback, and he's like Kyler Murray, and you think he's solid, then you can then you can try a coach like a Spagnuolo and say, hey man, I'm going to bring in a great defense here, bring in a young up and coming offensive mind to help put this offense over the map, but you're not really the problem. The defense is, right? Something along those lines. But for me, because they invested in Dart, that's why I think Mike McCarthy is a name that if the Giants fail, don't be surprised if that's the guy that walks through the door. Not because he's flashy, not because he's dashy, but he fits everything the Giants want. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a winner. His teams do a lot of things. He's an offensive-minded guy, and he has head coaching experience.
He has a respectable head coaching resume, point blank and period. I mean,
some people like Mike McCarthy. I don't mind him, but to be honest, I would take McCarthy's resume. I don't know what he would do in New York, but he's a guy that I'm keeping my eye on as the season goes on because I believe if he still wants to coach, of all the people out there, I don't think they would go Gruden, even though I think Gruden's good.
Top, probably.
I think Gruden would be great, but I don't think they would go here. Rex Ryan or a guy like that, who I know Rex wants to get back in, I don't think they'd go that route just because of how he, interprets and was with the media already and the rival Jets. We might need a guy like Rex Ryan, but who knows? So what does it leave me with? If I have Cliff Kingsbury, who I wouldn't mind either, because he's younger, if you hit, you have Cliff Kingsbury for the next decade, right? Mike McCarthy, I don't know how long you have with him. However, he did improve Dak. He brought in Brian Schottenheimer. He helped improve Dak's game. Dak, as much people don't want to admit it, he had some great years under Mike McCarthy. Now he's getting the recognition because I guess he's not under the shadow of quote-unquote Mike McCarthy. But I just believe he's a guy that you could still keep technically Joe Shane, right? Because then now you have a guy in McCarthy who can push back, who won't be his friend, who said, I need this, I need that. Listen to me here. Look at me, guys. And he won with the Cowboys. Not like he didn't lose with the Cowboys. His defensive coordinators have been terrible. And that's something I would ask him in the interview. Who the fuck you bringing in? You know? And so that's the guy I think if they fire Dable, which I hope they do, but long season, who knows? But if they fire Dable, that's the guy I think they're going to peg. To be honest with
you. Well said. And I honestly think so too.
Anybody
I think Mike's name is high on that list. I really do. I think he's number one. I think if you look at someone like Steve, I think his name's high on that list too. I think he's up there. I think Cliff's name is up there, and I also think Todd Monken's name is up there. Those are my pro right now.
Steve has to want to be a head coach. I don't know if he wants to be, because you have to ask yourself this question. There's been, since he's joined the Kansas City Chiefs, they've won, 3 Super Bowls under him, right? It's not like he doesn't have the pedigree to go be a head coach. So
he probably likes what he has in Kansas City too,
Right.
I like what you said there, yeah.
And maybe if they go 0-3, 0-4, and they start to pull the dynasty apart, they might say, you know what, maybe we'll clean house with the coordinator or something like that. And then maybe he does get a coaching job, right? But I don't know if he wants it. If he puts this team, let's say this defense goes off, because I think they're starting to gel, the Kansas City defense. I really do, from last game. And I think this game you're going to see more of that chess match because he's phenomenal. If he builds a defense and they have a good defense going forward and they win some of these games and they end up in the playoffs, I could hear his name being mentioned in circles. But from what I've heard, he kind of likes where he's doing right now, barring an unforeseen event such as the Kansas City firing everybody because of not making the playoffs or something. I don't know if he'll be available as a coach. I like your scenario. I don't know about Lincoln Riley. I don't know if I want to go college route. It's an interesting choice. You're a little braver than I am. I don't know if I do that. The Giants are not as brave, so I don't think they do that. But anyways,
well, not for a head coach, but he is probably the best offensive caller in the last 10 years in college, and that's including when Cliff was in college. And Cliff's offense, if you like Cliff, his offense is just as they call the same offense. I just truly believe that Lincoln calls it better. Nothing against Cliff. They call the same air raid offense. They both offense stems from that coach from Texas Tech, because Lincoln Riley I forget that coach's name, and that offense is born from Texas Tech. And I just think just as Cliff Kingsbury's resume is good for the NFL, right? The problem with Cliff was he jumped straight to head coach. That's the problem with Urban Meyer too. They jump straight to head coach. If you bring in someone like Lincoln Riley and you tell him, hey, you're not going to be the head coach, you're going to be offensive coordinator, I think he honestly, in my mind, he becomes a top 10 offensive coordinator in the National Football League.
Well, let's play the scenario out, right? Because I think Mike McCarthy's a little older than Steve Spagnuolo, or maybe they're the same age. I would do that with a Mike McCarthy. Why? Because if McCarthy decides he wants to hang it up, I have my heir apparent in waiting behind me, right? A guy who's already been a head coach, but now he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL just to kind of learn the ropes. But he does have the head coaching experience because he led a college program, which it's head coaching experience. And then the way that colleges are played now, it's almost a semi-pro, almost a pro league. So the only difference is getting the nuances of being in the NFL and running things and gearing up that way. But I could see a transition Mike McCarthy's got a 3-year deal, and then, he decides I'm going to retire, or the Giants say, you know what, you're a little older and we don't want to lose Lincoln Riley, or what you said, Lincoln Riley, right? We don't want to lose him as a coach. We think he's going to be there. So maybe they bump him up or something like that. It's never happened in the NFL, but that to me is more of a scenario.
And plus, to be honest with you, realistically of him coming and leaving SC, he'll probably have to win a natty because he likes what he's building. I honestly think that Mayava has a better chance of winning the natty over Caleb, but because we finally have a defense there. But
book it.
Yeah, who?
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, dog. You know who I really want to be our coach, but he'll never coach? Peyton Manning.
Oh man, Omaha.
Omaha. Peyton Manning have Eli Manning as an offensive coordinator. Okay. Dude, I was watching Monday Night Football the other day, and Peyton Manning was drawing up a play, and he's like, "Okay, Eli, let's go over." So I'm 18. I'm gonna be on the field. Here's Eli on the sideline because I'm on the field. I'm like, "Damn, Peyton, he's so dirty."
I love those two.
Right.
I told
So
my
good.
wife, I said my favorite quarterback of all time is Joe Montana, but my favorite quarterback in my era of actually watching football, because Joe was a little before my time, but I loved his mystique, and he was like the Jordan of the NFL at that time. All the endorsements. Peyton is when I really got into the draft and started. He was the first real big quarterback. I mean, when I first got into it, it was Rick Meyer and Drew Bledsoe, and then they kind of fell off in '94, '95, and then when I really got into the draft in '97, you didn't really have any big quarterbacks, but the two big quarterbacks coming out the next year in '98 were Leaf and Manning, and it was just I was into college football at that point too, so I knew who Manning was, and I just loved his game, and he's my favorite. So
Sure.
I love everything.
Yeah, dude. I remember coming into football when I started watching football. It was Peyton Manning was in his prime, and it was always Peyton and Tom Bowl. The Peyton Manning and Tom Brady Bowl. Used to be so good. He's fun. And then I remember, watching Eli do his thing. That being said, I looked over the slate, guys. I mean, like, you guys can disagree, but I think this is the most exciting 1:00 game, unless you guys want to do the Arizona versus 49ers. So I'll let you guys pick Denver versus Chargers or Arizona versus 49ers.
Let me see. Mac Jones and Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert and Bo Nix. For me, I'm going to go with Justin Herbert and Bo Nix because Justin Herbert's my MVP. So he's playing like
we'll let you
so
begin.
far.
We'll let you begin first. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Broncos
I'm going to pick.
That just came off of a loss against Indiana Jones. So, what do you got?
Yeah, and don't stop with that stupid name. They're going to start selling T-shirts and hats and whips now.
They really were selling T-shirts and hats.
They
really were.
Anyways, oh God, I hate that man.
Second in passing yards after Russell Wilson.
Oh,
Indiana Jones, baby.
Let me get through this segment before Daniel Jones fucking torpedoes the show. Okay. Los Angeles Chargers, I think they're gonna win. It's a big divisional game. I think they need this game to really start to establish themselves as a true contender. I feel like if they get through the Broncos, then they kind of hit a soft part of their schedule with the Giants and a few other teams. I think this game for them in LA, if they win this, we're going to have to start taking the Chargers as legit possible Super Bowl contenders, especially because Kansas City, while good, and I do believe a better team, as we spoke about in the previous segment, than the Giants overall, I think these teams are starting to catch up with them and aren't as fearful for the Kansas City Chiefs. Therefore, the Chargers, I think, are going to try to take that mantle, and they have the Bills that they have to cope with in the division. And right now, it's a rat race. I know it's early; it's only week 3, blah blah blah. But the Bills look phenomenal. Okay, they really do, and you're going to start to have to keep up with that team and that pace because you want home field advantage. When people start to realize in week 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, you start to build your identity. You start to establish yourself as a good team. And for me, this is where LA Chargers need to really kind of get off to keep going on that hot start. And I think they're going to pull it out.
Well said. Well said. All right, Mac, who do you got?
So mark me down for LA.
Yeah,
I'm going with the upset here.
Let's get it.
Chargers look good. First couple of weeks, they look sharp. Justin Herbert's right now is the league MVP after 2 weeks, in my opinion. And but still a lot of season left, and I think the AFC West is going to be. And when it comes down to it, I mean the Chiefs off to that slow start, they're off too. But at the end of the day, they are still the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's going to get interesting in that AFC West division as the season progresses. I don't think the Chargers are going to just run away with this division. And I think this is going to be a part of that reeling them back in process a little bit. I think the Denver Broncos go out there and take it to them in a big-time divisional AFC West matchup. I mean, these guys figure these are two teams that are both going to be in it all the way till the end of this year. Like I said, it's going to be a very competitive division out there in the AFC West. I think Bo Nix and the Broncos coming off a very tough loss a week ago against the Indianapolis Colts, and I feel like they look to rebound this week with a big time emotional divisional win on the road out there at SoFi, man. Go out and get the Chargers, man, this week. So I like the Broncos.
I love it. Awesome. Broncos go on the road and upset the Chargers. Take the hatred. They're like, dude, guys, we just got beat by Indiana Jones. We got to go beat Chargers and take the hatred on the Chargers. All right. I'm going to go wide with the Chargers here. It's horrid. I get what you're saying, Mac, and I was going to pick the Broncos, but, it's horrid. I think they're rolling right now. I think they're feeling it right now. I think if it wasn't for probably a couple of teams, they'll probably be the hottest commodity in the NFL. But, there's a couple of teams in front of them. I'm gonna choose the Chargers too. I already got different and picked the Giants. I don't want to. I mean, like the Broncos could easily win this game, but I'm gonna be safe. I'm trying to be safe, and I'm gonna pick the Chargers. But me being safe, the Broncos are probably gonna get this one. That being said, I'm gonna pull up another thing, and then we can go over it. You don't have to take too much time on it, guys. I just want to hear you guys' raw thoughts on this rankings. So these are my power rankings going into week 3. I'm not gonna name it. I'm just gonna have you guys look at it. I'll be back because my headphones is dying, so I need to plug in my other headphones. But I'm going to ask Adam: is there anything that you changed? Let's look at the column 32 to 25. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Anything you change? Let's go over it, and I'll be right back.
So yeah, I definitely would change some of the stuff. We'll go column by column just because I just we should address some of those things. I think the first column is pretty good. The Colts, I don't know. I can't believe they're 7. I would move them down a little bit. Because I believe if they're they are 2-0. But who knows? Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, Tampa Bay. That's who I would probably switch Indiana with, is Tampa Bay, because I believe Tampa Bay is better than Indian, and I would put them over Detroit because Detroit is 1-1 and Tampa Bay is 2-0. So for me, I'm definitely moving them up, and I would move Indianapolis down to Detroit's position, and I would move Tampa Bay to 7. And then Denver can go to 10. Everybody will slide down 1. And I would move the Bengals up a little bit. I think I moved them up over San Francisco, right behind. Well, actually, I can't do that. I have to put them, for me, I'd have to put them over the Lions because I'm doing it by straight record, right? You won your thing. I'm no favoritism here. So I'm going to put them above Detroit or under Indianapolis, and then I would leave it at Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, then Washington, Dallas. I mean, Arizona's also 2-0, so I'd probably move them up a little bit as well. And then I'd have Seattle. Seattle's fine, I guess. Atlanta's there, New England, Pittsburgh. I mean, these teams in the middle 9 through 24 are kind of going to remain in the same boat. However, Miami needs to be down there with Chicago. So I
agree after last night's game too.
I'd probably put them under the Browns, maybe under New Orleans, and just because I like Tennessee and where they're going over Tennessee. I think they go 30, 31. I think it would be Miami at 30, Chicago at 31, and Carolina at 32 for me, and then I'd leave New Orleans there at 29, and I'd move up the Jets 1 spot and the Giants 1 spot. So the Jets would be 24, the Giants would be 25. Minnesota should be higher because they also have a win. So I'd also put them over the Giants.
This is why, just to explain a few things, because I was plugging in my headset. I have the Colts at 7 just based off the team that they beat was the Broncos. I have the Chiefs at 10 because they did lose against the Chargers and the Eagles, and San Francisco's 2-0, but they really didn't play anybody's yet. I have the Vikings at 27 because we've seen 8 quarters of football and we've seen 7 bad quarters and we've seen 1 good quarter, but against who? The shitty Chicago Bears. If the Giants didn't go and do what they did, then I would. If they came out like week 1, it would have been below the Vikings. But the Vikings look terrible. You get what I'm saying? But continue.
I agree with that, but I want to. Opponent is opponent, right? We strength of schedule. You beat your team. You're 2-0. That's not how you get there, right? Just like we say, a loss is a loss, a win is a win. So I can't go, just because they beat this team, I'm going to rank them higher. That's all that AP shit they do in college football. So like all the teams that are undefeated are in the top, right? And then it just cascades from there. And then the bottom teams that are 0-3, like Miami, the Jets, Giants, Cleveland, New Orleans, Tennessee, Chicago, and Carolina, they all stink. They're all going to move up and down, up and down. I think where you got them right now is good. The only one I'd take out of there would be Minnesota.
I like that because a win's a win, and I do think it's fair. Mac, any bone pickings? I know there's probably some things you'll move around. Do you kind of like the rankings how it sits? What would you do?
Moving, I don't. Your name don't mean nothing to me. I don't care. You're 0-2. You're 0-2, and 0-2. You're not going to be in the top 10 of the power rankings. You just can't be sitting there at the top 10. In my opinion, I don't care if you're a Super Bowl runner-up. So I don't care what your reputation is. You're not sitting in the top 10 at 0-2 when you got other teams that have just played flat out better football than you beneath us. I just can't. So they have to earn their way back. They gotta earn their way. They gotta earn their way back into that kind of spot. I just feel like at 0-2 you can't be in that spot. You can't be one spot behind the Denver Broncos because they lost a game to the Indianapolis Colts a week ago. You know what I mean? And you're just sitting here one spot behind them at 0-2. I can't get jiggy with that. Green Bay is number 1 to me, period. Buffalo will be number 2 based off of what we've seen over the course of the first couple weeks of this season. And then I guess I wouldn't have a problem with Philly at number 3. So I would definitely switch those around a little bit. That's how I would flip those around, basically actually reverse the order, as a matter of fact, leaving Buffalo right there where they at and just Green Bay and flip-flopping Green Bay and Philly, I should say.
So 1-3 swap.
And the Colts, they are 2-0. Not sure if I would necessarily consider them the 7th best team in the league. Even though
you got there for the record, though. I respect the record.
And I'd probably have them more around that 9-10 range, just because even though it's 2-0, I get it, but I still believe I wouldn't have them above the Detroit Lions. Still, I think the Detroit Lions, even at 1-1, still have been a little more impressive. I mean, that 1 L is to who I believe is the best team in the football thus far right now, as the Green Bay Packers. You got to look at that and put that into perspective a little bit, and what Detroit did to Chicago. Granted, what we believe now is a very lowly Chicago team. They went out there and decimated that team on Sunday. So I just wouldn't have like the Indianapolis Colts necessarily above a squad like that.
I just put them there because I respect Denver so much this season. I don't know what it is.
Flip flop your LA teams as well.
No love for Tampa Bay.
I flip flop your LA teams.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think the Rams should be above the Chargers at this point.
That's a good point. I didn't even notice that. That's a really good point.
Yeah, Tampa Bay would definitely be a little higher up, like I said, just based off the fact that they shouldn't be below Kansas City in the first place. Shouldn't be below San Fran, to be quite frank. Shouldn't be below Denver either.
Dude, they're having a good season, man.
I know. It was hard because that middle of the pack, I kind of got stuck on. The 32 to 25 was easy for me, and then the 1 to 8 was easier. But the middle of the pack, I just didn't know what to rank teams. And I'll be honest with you guys, Tampa Bay got lost in the shuffle.
But the problem is you didn't rank them by the record.
The Dolphins should be absolutely over in the last column.
Yeah,
it didn't even take me to see just last week for that. They should be in the last last night's game for that. They should be in the last column.
They're awful.
Point blank and period. They should be not only in the last column. They should be amongst the bottom 4 or 5. I think.
The only reason they're not worse than Carolina,
bad team.
Carolina can't score for shit. So, like Chicago, Carolina, and Miami are awful.
Yeah, I like that.
The only reason I don't put Tennessee down there is I like Cam Ward, so I'm like, at least I can, lock in and watch him play. Like Caleb Williams, I feel like right now. Bryce
Yeah,
Young
though.
right now. You know what I mean? Like, and the worst part is the quarterback class this year is not doing that great. So you have no choice really but to got to keep these guys around.
Play, dude. Klubnik is already out of draft round 1. Like he's like, I don't know what's going on at Clemson this year. It's sad.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
called
messed
he's
up
getting paid and getting
Max
laid. You don't need to
Corley on
get to
fucking
the
first
NFL.
game. Sorry, Mac, for bringing that up again, but yeah. All right,
Getting
guys, I don't want to
paid and
take too
getting
much
laid.
time on that. But we'll make our rankings as a group next week because I pull up the website and let's rank them again next week and we'll use it as the premium takes rankings. I just wanted to pull up that one fast for you guys. All right, let's get into our final preview of the night. A little bit earlier show today, guys. But we know co-host Mac, he gotta get to work, so we don't want to take too long. That being said, guys, which game should we preview? I'm gonna let you guys choose. Boy, nope. Maybe this one.
I love the NFL. I was watching last night, and I just love football.
Me too. I think this one, huh?
I know I'm a junkie, and I know you know when it's bad when you don't need to follow a team to enjoy the sport. Like I enjoy the sport of football. It's truly like some people can just lock into their team. I can't do that. After the Giants play, I have to go watch somebody else because I just love football.
Honestly, that's why I like when the Giants play at 4:00 because I can watch Red Zone. I hate when the Giants play at 1:00, 10:00 because I have to lock into the Giants.
I'm old. I love 1:00. Give me the 1:00 game. I can be relaxed, go do something in the afternoon for a couple hours, then watch the night
come
game
back to Sunday night. Yeah,
right.
Oh, I wasn't even sharing the
games
screen,
I hate are Sunday night because I'm old now. So it's like,
I think
the game. It's a pretty good game.
I think this is the game. This is the morning game to talk about, if I have to be correct. Yeah. I hate talking about the Eagles so much, though. We'll give them the love.
New dynasty, my friend. They're the new dynasty.
Yeah, no. All right, guys, we got Sean McVay going to Lincoln.
Torn Achilles and all.
Yeah, no, for real, though. They beat us with their second strings on the field. That being said, though, we got the Rams going against Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm gonna be different, but I'm gonna say Sean McVay gets it done and upsets the world champions, gives the world champions the first loss this season. Holy shit, it's at home. Damn it. Yeah, you know what? You know why? This is the reason why. They got to utilize their receivers. I get it. Barkley's them. I get it. The offense runs to Barkley, but over the last 2 weeks, I wasn't really impressed. They're playing not the best football. Now, Eagles not the best football, still better than most of the NFL. Okay, but at the end of the day, now if you bring that type of football against the Rams, you took the Rams out. Jarvis is mad. They mad. They're like, yo, we would have gone to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for you guys. So revenge game Rams. I'm gonna pick the Rams. All right, go ahead, Matt.
I'm going Eagles here, man. Okay. I got to pick the Eagles with this one. I can't. I just don't see it. I think this is the get right game for the Eagles offense as far as you're going to see that Eagle offense explode. I know the Rams have bring a solid defense in the Philly. But I just think Eagles offense has been so kind of, they still won their games and everything, but it's been a little bit less. It hasn't been the most exciting thing to look at. Yeah, I think this is the week where that busts out a little bit. You get Jalen Hurts, using his arm and a lot more, and I think AGC a little more see some explosive plays from AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and these guys, and really just open that offense up this week. And I think that's going to happen against the Rams on Sunday. So I like the Rams. I like the Eagles.
Well said. Go right ahead, Adam.
I think this game, I'm going to go on the side of Zion here. I'm going to pick the Rams, and I think they've been circling this game since last January. Okay, they put this team on the ropes. They're the ones that believe they should have been in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. They believe that. They think they would have beaten, the Commanders and moved on to the next round. That's what they believe. Don't ask me. That's what they say. That's what they believe. That's why you bring in
Actually, that's what they
Devontae
believe.
Adams. It's true. That's what they believe. Devontae Adams. You don't bring in Devontae Adams to be runner-up to a team. You bring in Devontae Adams and you sign a $100 million quarterback to win a Super Bowl. That's what you're looking to do. Okay. Their defense has gotten better from last year. I think, even though they haven't broken out, the Rams haven't broken out quite yet. I think this is the game that they've wanted. They wanted to be here. They didn't. They would have came in this game 0-2, looking for this thing, but now they're 2-0 again against the formidable Eagles, who are, in my eyes. I know Mac says they're Green Bay's number one, but I do believe that the Eagles, are very much in that mix and are going to have something to say when it's all said and done. But I do believe that the Rams are going to look at it just like I just said. They're the best teams. They're the defending champs. We almost clapped their cheeks last game. We're gonna fucking stop mudhole in their ass this week, and I just think it's gonna be an interesting game. And if the Rams can pull it off, we're gonna have to start to respect them as a legit contender if they can stay healthy. And who knows what's going to happen. And it could be one of those things where you have a 4-team race between the Lions, Green Bay, the Rams, and the Eagles, right? Because right now, if you're looking at it, those top 4 teams right there could be the ones just based on experience and how seasons go, the top. So I'm picking the Rams. I'm excited for this game. I want to see if the Rams can figure out what they did last year and bottle up Barkley a little bit, and if they can get over the hump, because this is the game I believe if they win, they're going to build confidence to say, okay, we just beat the best team of football. We got this monkey off our back from last year. Let's go take the league by storm.
Well said. Well said. Alrighty, so we got Mac with the Eagles, Denver Broncos, and Kansas City. We got Adam with the Rams, the Chargers, and Kansas City. And then we got me with the Rams, the Chargers, and the Giants. Awesome. All right, guys, that's probably going to do it for the show. Just a fast show today, guys. We'll be back next Friday from our previews. And that being said, we will talk about probably the collapse of Clemson. I'll probably get into some college football. The AP rankings have been absolutely shit. That's why I didn't really bring it up. But I'm just going to show you guys a bit of my rankings real fast before we end the show. I got Ohio State at 1, Penn State at 2, Miami at 3, Georgia at 4, Florida State at 5, LSU at 6, Oregon at 7, Illinois at 8, Iowa State at 9. And then we go into the 10 to 17. I don't know why SC's not ranked higher on the AP. They're out of their mind. We'll be playing some of the best offense in the country, but we're playing nobodies. That's probably why. Those are your 10 to 17. And then we got the 18 to 25 at BYU, California, and Auburn rounding out the top 25. So that being said, those are my fast rankings, but the landscape of college football is about to flip overnight. Usually around week 4, things get a little bit different. There's a lot of top 25 matchups this week. So tune in to next week's episode. We'll recap the NFL and also touch on college football a bit more. And then get excited for, obviously MLB playoffs is around the corner. And then we got basketball, hockey starting up. But we're here at Premium Takes to capture all the sports. With that being said, back over to Mac. But before we end the show, do you guys want to talk about Wrestle-Palooza or something that's going on at ESPN tomorrow, or any match previews worthy of the show? Or if you guys don't want it, it's all good. I'll leave it up to you guys.
I'm good on it. I don't even right now. I've been so behind on that stuff. I don't even know what's going on.
Fair enough. I just seen the preview for it. I just didn't want to leave
the
that
only
out.
match I want is CM Punk and AJ Lee beat Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. That's really all I care about. Brock Lesnar being there doesn't do anything for me. And it's just interesting that they have a Wrestling Palooza. It's probably going to be a new pay-per-view. And I'm mad because I was paying $2.99 to get the pay-per-views on Peacock, and now
Peacock, yeah.
they want me to pay $30 a month for ESPN. You can kiss my behind on that shit. So I probably will be getting the pay-per-view cliff notes on like Bleacher Report and all that shit, so they can kiss my black, you know what.
Well said. Back over to you, Mac, to end the show. Let's get it.
Thank y'all for tuning in once again to another edition of the Premium Takes podcast. I am Matt the Giants fan with my co-host here, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. We are the Horsemen. Throw them fours up for our guy, NYG Jeffy T, and make sure y'all go subscribe to all our channels at Mac the Giants fan, at Adam Costas, and at Zion Zenith, and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network. also. And we definitely appreciate y'all. We'll be back next Friday. Well, they'll be back next Friday. Unfortunately, I'll be on vacation. Ain't won't be here. But
on vacation. Well deserved, by the way, man.
But they'll be here bringing it to y'all again once again next Friday. It's your boy Mac the Giants fan. Peace.